How you doing? I'm Jason Scheff. I play bass and I sing tenor lead vocals for the band in Chicago. I'm brand new. I just joined 27 years ago.
Well, I want to talk about you and your career, but obviously, given your heritage, I want to start from the beginning because you have a very famous and legendary dad. So I am very curious and interested, as I'm sure my readers and followers are, about your musical upbringing. And tell me your earliest musical memories growing up, son of Jerry Scheff.
Well, my parents split up early, so I wasn't really around his musical career. I remember a couple of sessions that he took me to that were amazing. I don't remember who the artist was, but he took me to a session one time where I saw this singer, and all I remember is this guy had long, kind of straight, stringy hair, and just had the most incredible voice. And that's the first time I heard a voice coming through speakers in a control room like that, where it was just like larger than life. And I was going, whoa. And I can't remember how old I was very young. And the second one was a Bobby Vinton session that he took me to, where Jimmy Haskell, who wrote the string charts for If You Leave Me Now, Searching So Long, and just the classic string arranger. Jimmy was on it, Hal Blaine, a lot of the Wrecking Crew was on it, and that was pretty neat because I got to see that. So
obviously, if your dad was there, then Carol Kay was not there, I assume.
That's right,
Okay.
Yeah. Carol wasn't there. Although, I'll just, kind of go off on a tangent for a second. That I ended up finding Carol online in the 90s, and I said, I want to come meet you. And she goes, great, you want to bring your dad? So I called my dad. And so Dad and I went over to Carol's house, and Hal Blaine lived like 3 doors down. So it was me, Hal Blaine, my father, and Carol. And they just kind of started talking about, you remember this contractor? And I'm just like a fly on the wall. And Carol, I could see she saw that I wasn't included in the conversation, and I saw that it was making her feel a little uncomfortable. And all of a sudden she goes, well, Hal, Jason here, he's a star. I'm like, oh, please don't do this. These people have worked with superstars, right? And she goes, Jason's a star. Yeah, he sings for Chicago. And Hal Blaine looks up and he goes, oh yeah? What goes up must come down. And I thought he was, trying to keep me in my place. I go, oh, believe me, I'm not trying to be a whirlwind at all, man. I'm just happy to be here in the presence of royalty. Later on, I kind of put it together that he had the bands mixed up. He was thinking
Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Yeah. That is funny. Well, what attracted you to the bass? Was it natural because of your dad?
Yeah, it was the last instrument I picked up, and piano was the first, around 6, 7 years old. Got a guitar around 10. My brother had a drum set, so we were plunking around on that. And then when I was 14, I got my first bass, and it was just supernatural. So it was being lazy. I said, I don't have to work at this as hard as the other stuff. So.
That's right. There's only 4 strings, right?
Yeah.
So how did your career get rolling? Was there a defining moment? Was there a particular gig when things got rolling, or did it happen more gradually?
Well, I joined a band in San Diego called the People Movers when I was 16. I don't advocate this, but I quit school because I was failing classes because I was playing so much music and I knew what I wanted to do. And I got this gig that Nathan East had just left. He was moving up to LA, so I replaced him in San Diego. And so that was the first time I got asked the question, well, you're filling big shoes, how does that feel? And I said, I don't know. Deep down I was probably thinking I'm young and stupid enough to think, why not? So when the gig with Chicago came up and the press would ask, you're filling big shoes, how do you feel about that? I said, well, Nathan East has been preparing me for this, for this question, so I don't know any better.
Well, you're referring obviously to Peter Cetera.
Yep.
And is it cool to ask you about that?
Oh, of course, man. Are you kidding? I'm the biggest Peter Cetera fan in the world. We've sat down and had coffee, and it's like I had the greatest hour and a half with him, where he was just really respectful and told me how much he loved what I was doing, and it's just the ultimate way to come into a band like this, to have something like that turn into a peer rather than this scary monster that's No, he's great.
How did you get the gig?
I was just writing songs in L.A. and my tape got into the right hands, and they were looking for somebody in Chicago, you know.
And here you are.
Yeah, man.
And that was what, 1985?
85, yep.
Wow, good for you. And there are 9 people in the band, and out of those 9, what is it, 4 or 5 are originals from?
4 of them are the original 6 that started, and then Peter joined them. So 4 out of 6, really 7. That's a pretty good batting average there, because they've as you heard tonight, they've retained the sound of the group. The horns are all intact, and Robert Lamb's voice, and then I'm this guy who's just kind of a conduit. That I came in I'm brand new. I just came in 27 years ago. But and as you heard the song that I sang that was a big hit for us. So there's a little bit of a link to the,
That's beautiful. On a much more serious note, I wasn't going to ask you this originally, but it came to mind. Terry Kath. I remember when I got the news about Terry, and the band obviously persevered and endured, but to what extent, if any, is his spirit still with the band?
He's, I hear it from the guys all the time. They, when we do Just You and Me, the line, "A man playing guitar, Robert always looks up at Terry." That spot. So he was a heartbeat of this band, from what I hear.
I understand you've got some projects going on outside of Chicago as well. Why don't you tell me about some of those?
Yeah, I'm basically in Utah now, working with up-and-coming artists, and really giving back to that, and recovery. I'm also 26 years clean and sober, and really just
congratulations.
Thank you. Giving back.
And what about the future? You're still pretty young. What else would you like to do in your life and your musical career that you haven't already accomplished?
I just love to keep doing this. It's pretty fun, and whatever springboards off of it.
Okay. Last question. What would you be? I know you're more than a bass player and a singer and a guitar player and a keyboard player, but what would you be if you were not any of those things, something outside of music?
I would probably want to be working in some type of counseling or helping, because I get the most out of that. I really do. Just I've experienced so many things that you would want as an artist, famous band, money, things. At this point, I just love making somebody's day better, so,
Well, that's great. Jason Scheff, thank you so much. The band is Chicago, and you are a long tenured member of that band, and keep doing what you're doing, because obviously it's good for you and it's good for all of us fans. So thanks very much.
You got it, man.
Much luck and continued success to you.
Thank you.